深緑色の瞳の君との夜が忘れられないよ優しく立ち上る香り今でも胸が熱くなるよ誰にも深入りさせない秘密の二人だけの世界心まで溶け合うように激しく愛を重ねて
Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to introduce you to Gyokuro. Now most of you would not be familiar with what Gyokuro is. The most common Japanese green tea is of course sencha. Maybe the second most common is matcha. But most people know Japanese green tea as a sencha style of green tea. Now sencha has two forms of processing. One is called asamushi, one is called fukuoka. Now asamushi is less steam and the more deep steamed is fukuoka. And most Japanese green tea is fukuoka style. Gyokuro on the other hand is a very rare tea. So the majority of production of Japanese green tea is either sencha or matcha. Gyokuro maybe 250 tons per year. So it's a very, very specialized tea. The taste of Gyokuro is quite different to sencha, and the color is also quite different. Sencha is a more deeper green, whereas Gyokuro is a more lightish yellow, more reminiscent of a traditional Chinese green tea style. And this tea actually has won an award, if you can see here, and maybe if you can see here. And this is the Fortnum Mason Award for Best Gyokuro. Now the style of this Gyokuro is Sai-Midori. So just like sencha has many varietals, hinshu in Japanese. For example, you have Yabukita, you have Sai-Midori, you have Sayama, so you have Uji. So all these are varietals of the tea leaf for sencha. Gyokuro also has the same, and this is the Sai-Midori varietal of a Gyokuro style. Now, what makes Gyokuro so special is its umami. So umami is that special savory dashi style taste that you get in a lot of Japanese food. And this is very, very special for Gyokuro. And therefore, unlike sencha, which usually uses a large teapot like this is a kyusu. For Gyokuro, we just need small quantities. And so we use a smaller one like this. This is called a honin. The other difference between Gyokuro and sencha is the heat. So for sencha, we usually heat our water to about 85 degrees. For Gyokuro, it's much cooler, between 55 and 65 degrees. I'm actually going to use 60 degrees. The other difference is the amount of time we take to brew. For sencha, usually it's 1 minute, but for Gyokuro, especially at about 60 degrees, it's between 2.5 to 3 minutes. I'm going to do 3 minutes. So, let's begin. First thing we'll do is we'll have a look at the tea. So let me just take this, let me just adjust this here, and let me show you the tea there. Now for sencha, we use between 3 to 5 grams of tea. And the proportion of water is about 30 milliliters. For Gyokuro, the same. This recommendation chart says 3 grams, 30 milliliters. So let's try it. As I said, I'm very excited about this tea because it's won the Fortnum Mason's Award, and that's such a big honor. I mean, the tea award system, Fortnum Mason's, is just amazing. Tea from all over the world comes and they judge tea, both green tea and black tea, in many styles. And so for this farm, which is not a big farm, for this farm to actually win an award is quite amazing. First, let's open our honing. Next, let's put in our tea. Make it nice and even, like so. Okay, nice. We don't need this anymore. Oh, one thing I should say about Gyokuro is that Gyokuro is shaded. So sencha, you can get shaded sencha, but usually sencha is not shaded. Matcha is always shaded, and Gyokuro is also shaded. So Gyokuro is shaded after about 3 weeks before harvesting. So by shading, I mean like if this is the tea here, well, it's like a cover. Now there are two types of covers. So this covering system is called kabuse. So shading, when you look at sencha, for example, you will say kabuse sencha, which means shaded sencha. Usually the price is a little bit higher, the taste is a little bit better. There are two types of shading. One is called honsu, and honsu shading is like a wara, like a straw. The second style is called kanreisha, and kanreisha is like a plastic shading. So this has been shaded 3 weeks before harvesting. So that's another difference between Gyokuro style. So Gyokuro is always shaded, and sencha style. This is a little measuring cup, and let's actually measure 30 ml. So therefore we have it quite accurate. Okay, so that's 30 ml here. And now I'm going to pour it in here. And it looks a little bit like this. And now I'm going to seal. And let's wait 3 minutes. Okay, we're nearly coming to end of our timer. This Yame-shi, let me just explain a little bit more. So Yame-shis are used to cool the water naturally. So for example, if the water, and usually this will cool it minus 10 degrees. So if the water is 100 degrees, you pour it into the Yame-shi, and that then becomes 90 degrees. The other thing I want to point out, oh, okay, before I point that out, let me just pour. Our time is up. Let me just pour the tea. So let me arrange these cups like so. Oops. Now with a honin, we usually don't shake. I'll explain that, but let me pour it first. And this last drop we call the golden drop. So I'm going to each cup two golden drops. One and one more. Yes. Now, let's look at the leaf first. Wow. The kaori, the aroma is just amazing. Have a look at that greenness. Isn't that beautiful? Now, as I said, the coloring is a more yellowish color rather than a sencha green. Maybe I'll show you this one. Can you see that yellow color style? Whereas sencha is much greener. Gyokuro has a nice, soft yellow texture, very similar to traditional Chinese green tea. Oh, one thing I should have said about the kabuse, the covering. The reason we do the covering, or the reason the tea master does the covering, is because exposure to great sunlight just before harvest can create a small bitterness or astringency, shibumi in Japanese. And usually some sencha has this bitterness, or this nagami is bitterness, or astringency is shibumi. To reduce this, we use the shade. And that way the umami, that rich, uniquely Japanese flavor, can come into the tea. Matcha is the same. Matcha is shaded, and that creates that beautiful umami that you get from ujicha. So let's try this Yame-cha. So Yame is a region, as I said, in Fukuoka, very famous for Gyokuro, also famous for matcha, by the way. So let's try it. Beautiful, very well balanced, very light, but the aftertaste where the umami comes in right at the back of the palate and just down the throat is just amazing. Some people have said that gyokuro tastes a bit like Japanese fish, which is not true. The reason people think that is because when you're making Japanese fish, you use a seaweed or a material called dashi. And dashi and kombu are a stock that is used in a lot of Japanese food. And that stock has a lot of umami. And that's why some people think, this tastes a little bit like a fish style. But no, it's actually the dashi and the kombu, the seaweed, that you get, that you taste when you're eating Japanese food. That is this umami style you enjoy when you are drinking Gyokuro. The umami in the last few cups, much stronger. So the first pour, a little bit lighter, and these last few cups, much stronger. Actually, the coloring is also a little bit deeper. Great. Last cup. And there you have it. This is Gyokuro.